"Has anyone seen Goldilocks?" Christy Huddleston called as she surveyed her crowded schoolroom. With 70 students in one room, things were always a little disorganized. Today, however, the room was in chaos. Of course, it was a very special day. Today was the dress rehearsal of the school's first play, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Christy climbed onto her desk and clapped her hands. "Attention, everyone!" A few students paused. Christy tried again. "Children," she called, trying to make herself heard over the babble of excited voices. "What did I tell you about the director of a play?" "The director gets to boss everybody else around," answered Creed Allen. Creed, who was 9, had been cast in the role of Father Bear, or, as the children called him, Pa Bear. He paused to adjust the beaver pelt that comprised his costume. Christy had helped Creed tie it around his head with a piece of string. He didn't look anything like a bear, of course, but that didn't matter. As Christy had been teaching them all month, the theater was about make-believe. Teaching at the mission school here in Cutter Gap always meant working without the usual supplies, but by now, Christy had grown skilled at making do with very little. In fact, she'd chosen the story of the Three Bears because it required so few props. Christy had written the simple play herself. Gazing around the room, she felt certain that the schoolhouse was going to work nicely as a theater. It already served as the church on Sundays. Christy had talked Miss Ida, who ran the mission house, into parting with a worn sheet. David Grantland, the young minister for the Cutter Gap Mission and Miss Ida's brother, had strung a rope across part of the room. With a little ingenuity, Christy had a curtain for her makeshift stage. "All right, I see my 3 bears," Christy called loudly. "6 bears, teacher," said Ruby Mae Morrison. 13-year-old Ruby Mae had been wearing her bear costume for days now. The costume was really nothing more than a huge brown coat, far too large for Ruby Mae. She'd found the coat in a box of clothes donated to the mission by a church in Christy's hometown. Christy was allowing Ruby Mae to use it for the play, as long as she promised to return it to the box in good shape. "Ain't but just 3 bears in the play," said Bessie Coburn, one of Ruby Mae's best friends. "You all is just under-bears." "Understudies, Bessie," Christy corrected. "We's proper bears," Ruby Mae exclaimed. She growled menacingly and clawed at the air, just the way Christy had instructed during bear lessons yesterday. "We's the ones who'll take your place if somebody eats you up, Ma Bear." Bessie sighed as she adjusted her bear costume. "I still don't see why we have to do such a babyish play." "I wanted to do a play with a plot that even the youngest children could understand, Bessie," Christy explained. "If this first play goes well, maybe we can try something more complicated next time." She smiled. "Who knows? We could even stage a play by Shakespeare." "Shakespeare?" Bessie repeated. "He was a very fine writer who lived a long time ago," Christy replied. "In the meantime, I want you to be the very best bear you can possibly be, all right?" While Bessie and Ruby Mae engaged in a mock bear fight, Christy once again clapped her hands. "Let's everyone take our places for the final scene," she called.